John Bialy, before we go on live, did Skip
We're
Van
live.
With that, welcome to the regular meeting of the Oakland Mayor and Council. Today is Wednesday, August 26th. Roll call.
Mayor Schwinger,
Here.
Councilman Bialy,
Here.
Councilman Knapp,
Here.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Here.
Councilman Talamini,
Here.
Councilman Van Ack.
Here.
All right, we dispense with the salute to the flag, a moment of silence at your home or wherever you are. Thank you. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, duly announced, advertised, and posted in the municipal building. And my mayor's report for tonight, I'm going to start with the census. It's not too late to submit your census online. Go to 2020census.gov. It's very important. It's very important because it helps us with federal funding. It affects the funding we receive. It affects the funding our county receives and the state receives. And it also affects the number of representatives we are given towards, in Congress, excuse me, the House of Representatives. In 2010, New Jersey was undercounted. Hopefully that will be corrected this year in 2020. And the deadline is September 30th. Vote by mail. You will receive cards from the county clerk. Vote by mail in New Jersey this year. That's what we're doing, according to the governor. To answer many emails and calls I'm receiving, I'm just going to give a brief summary, and I will repeat this regularly. So I've been answering emails, answering calls, answering texts. This is basically it. If you are a registered voter, you will receive a vote by mail in the mail with a returned self-addressed prepaid envelope. You can mail back the ballot. You can drop it in a drop box, which will be in locations to be determined. And every municipality must have one polling place open with a drop box. So you can put your ballot in the drop box there. If you could not mail it back and you go to the polling place under certain circumstances, they will allow you to vote, but it will be a provisional ballot. I'll get more details, but if you do mail your ballot back or drop it in, you can confirm on the website whether or not they received your ballot. Again, as we get closer, I'll give more details. But be assured, if you mail your ballot, you can get confirmation on the website, or you could drop it in a drop box with cameras. Everything will be done as best as they can. I am sure many of you, if not all of you, are aware by now that Councilman Lou Levy resigned. Councilman Lou Levy was council president, and so tonight we will vote for a council president to finish the term of this year that Lou Levy held. He did this voluntarily, and it was a personal decision, and we will not be commenting to anybody on this issue. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to open to the public.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, if you're a member of the public, please click on the raise your hand icon and you will be unmuted and recognized. Thank you.
Nobody, Michael?
Mayor, I see no one.
All right, motion closed.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes from the August 12, 2020 meeting. Their motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Abstain.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
Executive minutes from August 12, 2020.
So moved.
Wait, if you're going to make any discussion, it has to be during exec. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Then therefore voting.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Abstain.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion for Council President.
I move that Russell Talamini be elected council president.
Second.
And this is to finish the term of that was held by Lou Levy. Is there any other nominations? If not, roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
Time,
Let me just say thank you. Thank you to everyone for letting me to fill the position, and I'll try to I'll do my best. Thank you.
I was going to say you're going to fill his shoes. At this time, there is vacancy on the Flood Commission, and I offer the name of Lou Levy to be on the Flood Commission. Can I get a nomination?
I'll nominate Lou.
Second,
I'll second it.
roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
Thank you. And thank you to Lou for willing to serve on the Flood Commission. We have resolutions. I'll read them. And then if you want any pulled out, otherwise we'll do it as a consent agenda.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
Should we do the council liaison to the flood commission now, or do you want to do that later?
Well, does Council President want to do it?
Russell?
I'm fine. We could sure. I'd like to appoint Councilman Pignatelli as the liaison to the flood committee.
Do you accept?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Councilman Talamini.
Okay. Resolution 2206, authorized shared service agreement with the Bergen County Health Officer. We had an agreement which expires December 31st, 2020. They're willing to go for an additional year for the following fees. Public Health Officer, $17,345.44. Registered Environmental Health Specialist, $31,497.25. Septic and Well Services billed at $676.33 an hour, for a total of $48,942.69, and the CFO has certified the availability of funds. Resolution 2208, and these are for refunds of recreation fees. The Tompkin family's $250 basketball camp. Gottlieb family, $115 full rec. Matusevich family, $115 full rec. Bishop family, $108 rec softball. Manzolillo family, $78 rec softball. Parissis family, $108 rec softball. Potter family, $78 rec softball. Rivella family, $171 rec softball. Pisavachier family, $78 rec softball. Brown family, $113 rec softball. Pisacane family, $143 rec softball. Slasinski family, $113 rec softball. Morello family, $113 rec softball. Babino family, $113 rec softball. Boisdale family, $113 rec softball. Dandino family, $113 rec softball. Carlson family, $113 rec softball. Bayani family, $182 Session 2 Summer Camp Tyler. And the Ziegler family, $93 rec baseball. Resolution 2209 is a resolution for Oakland to confirm endorsement of Rebuilding Together North Jersey's Community Development Project, and it's part of the State Interlocal Services Act. Resolution 2210, approving the bylaws of the Bergen County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund, and after a public hearing on March 19, 2020. Resolution 2211, authorizing expenditure of the Capital Improvement Fund for preliminary expenses. for the sewer infrastructure project phase 1, $60,000, and it is reserved for preliminary expenses and all related services and costs for useful life of not less than 5 years. Resolution 2212, amend contract for Boswell Engineering for phase 1 sanitary sewer improvements. And there was a resolution for $260,000 on December 5th, 2018. And it was resolution 18355 was amended, it'll be amended from 2106 on March 11th for an additional $15,000. 2213 rehire. I have to apologize for a minute. I have to be excused. Can someone continue with the resolutions? Council President Talamini?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. What did we get to, 213, was it?
With 213.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm looking at it on, I just gotta scroll down. All right, so resolution 213, rehiring of the crossing guards. Whereas the crossing guards were issued notice of layoff effective April 6, 2020 due to the closure of the schools. Hold on. Schools on March 15th, 2020 for COVID-19. And whereas the borough must now rehire the crossing guards. Be it resolved, Mayor and Council rehire the following crossing guards: Barbara Beeman, Bill Bickford, John Carr, Marianne Carroll, Monica Carson, Phil DiBiase, Marilyn Dockery, Maria Jimenez, John Gray, Mindy Greenfield, Debbie Hill, Bob Lynn, Debbie Patterson Sub, Richard Pierce, Charlotte Schaeffler, Bill Sisti Sub, Kelly Smith, Terry Volman, Bob Weston. And then resolution 2014, award bid removal of Streamhouse. Whereas August 13th, 2020, the borough received 4 bids for the removal of the Streamhouse, whereas Dell Tech 930 New York Avenue, Trenton, New Jersey had the lowest responsive and responsible bid of $202,000. $202,000. And whereas the architect and the borough attorney have reviewed the bids and have recommended acceptance of the bid from Dell Tech. The chief financial officer certified the funds, and now be it resolved that the bid of Dell Tech in the amount of $202,000 be accepted. And that's that. And resolution 2216, award bid for the 2020 road program. Whereas August 18, 2020, borough received 5 bids. D&L Paving Contractors, 675 Franklin Avenue of Nutley, had the lowest responsive and responsible bid at the price of $1,201,387. And the borough attorney have reviewed the bids and has recommended the acceptance of the bids. Whereas the chief financial officer has certified the funds are available. Now be it resolved that D&L Paving Contractors be paid in the total amount of $1,201,387.
Excuse me, Councilman Talamini. I believe
Yes.
I believe you passed by 2214, which is amend outdoor dining resolution.
It might be on the other packet. Let me.
It is.
It's
It's on
on
the
the-
addendum packet.
All right. So I'll go to the addendum packet after I get through this. So we did 216. Yes, we just did 216. And do we have the list of the roads on here?
They were in my memo. Do you want me to go through them?
You want me to,
Russell, you want me to go through the list?
I have it.
Or Mary, you want to if you have it?
Oh, I don't have it. Sorry, I'm just stuck dealing up today. I apologize, everybody, and thank you, Russ, for taking over.
No problem. We're at the roads resolution, and we're just looking for the list of the roads. Rich says he has them. Rich could read them.
Go ahead, Rich.
Oh, is it on the memo?
Yeah,
I have it on the memo.
you want me to take care of it? now?
Emerest Avenue from Walnut to N, Roosevelt Boulevard, Truman Boulevard from Roosevelt Boulevard to First Street, Yuma Court, Overlook Ridge from house number 43 to N, Hidden Gorge from Overlook Ridge to Upper Gate, McNomby Street from Page to Hickory, McCoy Road from number 738 to number 748, Dakota Avenue, Raven Avenue, Powder Mill Lane, and Arrowhead Road.
Yep, and Mayor, if I could add, this project also includes the paving work for the driveway and parking
Oh,
area
correct.
at Meadow Park near the.
On Calumet Avenue, Osage Road, Sioux Avenue will receive the same treatment as Great Oak Park driveway.
No, that'll actually be crack sealing on those roads, Mayor.
Okay,
Do you want me to continue or do you?
please, because I'm gonna have to get up again, sorry.
Resolution 2217, authorized purchase of a 2021 Chevy Tahoe police vehicle. Whereas Borough of Oakland is in need of purchasing a 2021 Chevy Tahoe police vehicle, whereas Mall Chevrolet, 75 Haddonfield Road, Cherry Hill, has cooperative prices contract ESCN NJ-17/18-44 for the vehicle as per the specifications desired, and whereas the cost of each vehicle is $39,678.10 with the desired options. Whereas the Chief Financial Officer certified that the funds are available in account C-0456-89-301. Okay,
So, hey, Russ, 1 second, please.
yes.
Rich, we're buying one Tahoe?
Right, so this one is for patrol, and Keith was ready to move ahead with this purchase. The other one will be for the Detective Bureau, so it's going to be optioned and configured a little bit differently.
Okay,
That one will be coming up in the fall.
very good. Thank you. Sorry, Russ.
No problem. And then Resolution 2218, authorized purchase of a front-end wheel loader. Whereas the Department of Public Works wishes to purchase a 2020 front-end wheel loader. Whereas Jesco Incorporated of South Plainfield, New Jersey has the vehicle desired at a cost of $108,574.86 on ESCNJ co-op bid number 18/19-25. And the Chief Financial Officer has certified that the funds are available in account number C-04-56-810-404. Okay.
Russ, it's 188,000, not 180.
$188,574.86.
Yeah.
All right, just moving to the next one. There we go. Resolution 2219, establish creative team. Whereas the sustainable New Jersey community seeks to optimize quality of life for its residents by ensuring that its environmental, economic, and social objectives are balanced and mutually supportive. And whereas the Borough of Oakland strives to save tax dollars, assure clean land, air, and water, improve working conditions and living environments. And whereas the Borough of Oakland is participating in the Sustainable Jersey program, and whereas the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Oakland adopted Resolution 20-37 on January 9th, 2020, to support continued participation in the Sustainable Jersey Municipal Certification Program and to appoint Green Team members. And whereas one of the Sustainable Jersey actions is to create a creative team, which creative team can be the catalyst for meaningful development by linking arts and culture directly to sustainability. And whereas the Borough of Oakland supports the creation of Creative Bergen, and that the Borough of Oakland fully supports the borough's participation in Creative Bergen, which is a subcommittee of the Bergen County Hub of Sustainable Jersey. And whereas important outcomes of creative placemaking and Creative Bergen can include improving local business vitality and community spirit, providing new reasons for others to visit, invest, or live in the Borough of Oakland, bringing diverse people together to celebrate, create, inspire, and to be inspired, improving quality of life and community well-being. Now for be it resolved, and the rest of that. That's sustainable.
220.
Yeah, I'm going for I'm scrolling down.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, this is long. Let me see. Okay, there we go. 220. Resolution 220, amend recreation refund. Whereas Resolution 2204 adopted August 12, 2020 authorized a refund of $93 to the Bergamini family, and that amount was incorrect. And whereas the correct refund amount should be $78. Now for be it resolved by the Mayor and Council that the Bergamini family, 31 Seminole Avenue, New Jersey, in the amount of $78 for rec softball. Okay, Resolution 2204, authorized refund of recreation fees. Whereas the Borough of Oakland has received a request of a refund of recreation fees, and whereas NJSA...
Russ, I'm sorry, that's just the backup that was for Resolution 220.
So we did that already. Okay.
Yeah.
214 is the only one left.
214, all right, and that's in the other page. Let me get that.
That's a long one to read, Russ. You might want to summarize.
Yes.
It's like 5 pages.
Resolution 2214, revised temporary outdoor dining. All right, so as everybody knows, we had to put in a resolution to allow outdoor dining in town. We came up with a few issues that we had to hammer out, and so we're hoping everybody can live up to this resolution and hope this solved some of the problems that were happening. And maybe Rich could give a better summary of the points.
Sure. So if you look at the resolution, because it was in final form, the modifications are in section 8, 9E, 9N, and 11. And so what these changes encompass are to set a cutoff time for both live and recorded music of 11 p.m. That's in response to a number of noise complaints that we had received since we had kind of expanded that a month ago or so. Clarify that tents are actually permitted. I think that was probably the intent. It was never stated that way in the resolution, but to clarify that tents are permitted as long as 3 sides are completely open. They cannot be enclosed at all. That kind of runs counter to the whole idea of outside dining. It would require that any plan modifications proposed by the restaurants actually receive approval by the borough before they're being implemented. And it would also establish a violation and penalty provision such that for a first complaint, if it was substantiated, the restaurant would receive a warning. A second complaint would result in a revocation of the outdoor dining permit. And that was to allow us to have some sort of ability to make sure that they're, complying with the rules and regulations here. I think that we've, tried our best to appropriately balance in order to, support our businesses while being, also mindful of the residents in general too. So it provides that too. So that's in sum, the changes.
Okay. So that's all the resolutions, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
You want me to keep doing this, or you got this?
Well, are there any well, we finished. Are any pulled out?
Yeah.
I would like a couple pulled out, please. The Stream House bid with 20.
15.
I was on the other tab. I just had to switch back over. 15.
Yep.
And the creative team 2019.
And I just have a question about 2208.
Okay.
So we're pulling out 208, 215, and 219. that correct?
Yes.
All others, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
So moved. Second.
On roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
Councilman Pinutelli,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
Okay, 2215 award bid removal stream house.
Okay, I just wanted to bring up about the bids, the lowest bidder, and the price difference on that was $34,000. But I know the lowest to the next bidder up, and the lowest bidder, there was a way we couldn't award it because it didn't meet a requirement. So, I mean, I just figured that's a pretty big price difference. So I just wanted to bring that up because I think $34,000 to the next one is a pretty big jump. But what is everybody's thoughts?
Well, I don't know, Richard.
Well, so
What's
we had
the bid opening?
you're right. So we had received 4 bids. They were all generally about $30,000 apart, give or take. There was a rather large spread. The engineer's estimate was about $200,000. We were excited when we saw the apparent low bidder's number. But as you mentioned, Grant, there was what's referred to as a non-curable defect in their bid, meaning that they're not responsive and were precluded by law from being able to award it to them. Right? So you go to the next one, and then you ask a series of questions. Is it within the estimate range? Is the bid, is that next bid complete? Is there enough available funding? And you do an evaluation on the legal end as to whether you move ahead with the bid award or whether you reject. We didn't feel that we were really in a position to reject all bids and rebid. So that's how the recommendation came about to award it to Deltec as the lowest responsive bidder. Okay, Brian, I don't know if you want to supplement that at all.
Yeah. I just want to add one thing. There is a statute that has 5 mandatory items. If you fail to have any of those mandatory items, the bid must be rejected and is deemed non-responsive. The lowest bidder did not submit a consent of surety. We have absolutely no discretion to award to that bidder.
But if I may, but the lowest bidder that was rejected could produce that, but produced it late. Is that correct?
That's correct, but unfortunately, it has to be with the bid, and that's what the statute provides.
So if we rejected the bids, and then this person rebid it, and he bid the same low price, $34,000 cheaper, then we could award it to that person.
I asked Richard about that, and we could be sued by the next bidder because we have to give a reason. Right, Richard? What did you tell me?
Right. So you need to have, and as with the mandatory items, there's also a list of reasons why you can reject all bids as opposed to qualifying one bidder. So certain conditions with that need to be met. If all of the bids were wildly over, your amount of available funding, or the engineer's estimate, or your the project, or you find out that you can award via state contract instead. All of those are valid reasons, and none of them exist here.
Okay. I'm satisfied.
Anybody else?
Councilman Grant.
No, it's normal operating procedure under the purchasing laws, and I've been through it before in my other job, and we lost $100,000 once. We couldn't reject everybody because we would have been sued. So Brian brings up a very good point.
All right, so is there a motion to approve 20-215?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
Councilman Pinutelli,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
Richard, do we have a tentative timeline on when this is going to come down?
Sometime this fall. I reached out to Margaret today with an email, already looking to schedule the pre-construction meeting. So as soon as I hear back on that, I'll let you know. We want to get going on this in September.
Yes, because a lot of residents want to be there
Yep.
at the knocking down ceremony, with social distancing and masks.
Yes.
They're pulling it down gently though? I mean, like, are they saving stuff, or is it?
Right. So it's not a wrecking ball. There's actually asbestos removal required due to the composition of the exterior materials. Then it's going to be removed. Just as a reminder, it is the stream house. It is over a stream, so it's not like you can just take a wrecking ball and knock it all down. And then, as a reminder, part of the scope of this is you may look at saying, "Oh, building demolition for $200,000, that's high." Well, part of this is also then to reconstruct a covering for the foundation, which is remaining in place, right? So there's a cost to that too.
Richard, I also like to make sure that they do rodent abatement prior to the demolition.
I believe that was in the specs. Yes.
Just double check that, please, because I believe some animals are going to come running away from that place, and we don't want them going into neighbors' homes.
Correct.
Thank you.
You said a rodent abatement?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear it. I'm saying, what's a rodent abatement? Okay, thank you.
The cover that we're talking about going over the foundation, is it like a membrane or is it a roof?
It's going to look like a roof structure.
All right, resolution 2208, you brought that up, Councilman Talamini, Recreation Fund.
It's just that we seem to be giving a lot of funds back in recreation. I mean, are we bleeding? Are we bleeding to death in recreation, or are we doing fine? Are we,
it's interesting because David and I had a conversation about this today, this morning, as a matter of fact. So if you recall, when we did our COVID-19 budget, we kind of hedged our bets. We essentially kept the appropriations intact, not quite knowing how all the programs were going to shake out. But on the revenue side, we figured that there could be less participants. We wound up reducing the amount of revenues using some type of surplus to offset that. So right now, revenues are not tracking quite where we thought they would be. David's going to be having a conversation with the Rec Commission and to develop a projection between now and the end of the year. But yes, we have issued a lot of refunds. You're correct about that.
All right.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve the funds?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
And the next one is 20-219, establish a creative team.
Okay, so I read through this, and it's a lot of information here. I think I would just request that we table it. I'd like to talk a little bit more about how this works, understand the point system, how this impacts our town. It relates to the Sustainable Green Team, why it's appointed within the committee itself, gets to pick the leaders of this. I think that maybe I'm wrong, that it's a little different than some of the other committees and commissions that we have organized. So I would just ask that we have an opportunity to take a little bit more time to look at this and understand it before we vote on it.
Richard, is there a time frame?
Well, yes, actually, give me a second here. I think that there was a time frame where they were looking for these support resolutions to be provided. But let me see.
It's for the arts. I mean, I went on that first Zoom meeting. It has to do with the arts. And was it all of Bergen County?
Right. So basically, if you recall, going way back to the statue that Peter Markles had presented, he'd even brought up the idea of creating a creative team or an arts council type organization to promote public art in the community. Under this approach, basically the consortium of green teams in Bergen County called the Bergen County Hub would work together, work cooperatively on that effort. So all the member communities were asked to pass in a resolution endorsing and supporting that effort. So one of our green team members would serve on the regional committee towards that effort. And Yeah, I don't have it here, but something is telling me that there was a reason why we needed to get it onto this agenda. Michael, I don't know if you recall offhand.
Hi, Rich. It's Michael. So the deadline is September 11th. That's our certification deadline. And I just want to note this is part of our silver certification. It's a hefty point total. So it is going straight towards our silver. It is.
So that's important.
Right.
Why is that important? What does silver mean, Michael?
If I may add, our Sustainable Green Team chairperson is present if you do have any further questions for her. But silver certification is essentially the borough jumping from 150 certification points to 350, which is very rigorous and hard to achieve as a municipality. It requires a lot of programs and actions to take place. And we submitted for over 500 points, which is significant. So again, this is just another action that goes towards our point total.
Would anybody like to hear from the chair?
Otherwise, I'll just, you can vote no. You know what? I'm just going to put this out. Is there a motion to approve?
So
No.
moved.
You're on the environmental and sustainable, no?
Second.
All in favor of that, but I just think I've got too many questions and concerns about this to approve it. I think it should be tabled.
But if we can't, when's the next meeting is September 9th. And so are you willing to jeopardize our points?
What do the points mean? What is it? What do you get?
What-
Is it like Kohl's Cash or is it like credit card points? Well, I don't understand.
Where's that? Richard,
The program does offer some grant opportunities.
it's grants.
We secured a grant for the community garden. We were successful in getting that. And I think too, it really is sort of a feather in the borough's cap to say that we're active in all of these areas, trying to do, good things for the community. Grant, to your point, I'd be happy to sit down. Maybe we can have a meeting with the Green Team Chair, you and me and Michael, and go over the program in detail.
Pat is the liaison. Pat, can you add anything as far as
I can.
why these 10 points matter?
We've been trying for at least 2 years to try to attain silver certification. Once you do, the higher you go, the more grants you're able to apply for. And I know that the Green Team has done a lot of, and with the help of Michael, a lot of administrative work, pulling together the items that we need to become silver certified. So it really is a feather in our hat, and it will provide more opportunities for us to apply for grants, for us to do other programs. So
Obtain grants.
It is a good program.
Look what they gave us for the community garden.
Right. Yep.
All right, so there's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
No.
All right, we have no ordinances. I'm going to, Richard, I'm going to turn off a little bit while you do the work session.
Okay.
Item, that's okay?
Sure. Okay, going through the workshop items. First one is a recommendation from the police chief. They took a look at our current residential and commercial alarm ordinance and their internal procedures for administering that, realized that it was rather out of date, both in terms of process and requirements, and even fees. So this is kind of just a set of amendments to the ordinance to bring it up to date with current practice and current standards. As Keith pointed out, there are a number of changes to the original set of definitions. There's an increase to the registration fee from $12 to $25, and the change to the information that should be provided with the form. There's an increase in the fine for false alarms, and I think we had also updated the violation and penalty. So,
Richard, this hasn't been done for quite some time, I believe, right?
The original ordinance dates back to 1967. So, yeah, it was time for an update, I think.
Yes.
Okay, so fairly straightforward. I don't know if the Public Safety Committee has anything else that they want to add to that, though.
Oh, you did a fine job.
Okay.
Yep.
I can summarize a memo with the best of them.
Good job.
Okay. Next item. The State DOT just announced another transportation alternatives program. If you may recall, it applied a couple years ago, maybe last year, for Station Park and some related streetscape improvements. Through that program, we were not successful. We were not awarded any funds, but they've announced the grant program again for fiscal year 2020. And streetscape improvements are again an eligible category. Everything from sidewalks to benches, planters, streetlights. Some of the criteria does focus on pedestrian safety and community enhancements. So just wanted to kind of see what everybody thought about trying to use this grant again to focus some attention on the downtown corridor. I think that there is some discussion that needs to take place probably with the planner to kind of mesh the efforts that would go into the grant with some of the work that the planning board has been doing regarding the downtown planning master plan amendment, which has kind of been on hold with COVID. But I'd like to kind of try and sync up that current thinking to put it into a grant application as well. The grant is due at the end of November, but this is something that's rather involved, both in terms of the requirements and the amount of time it takes to prepare it. For example, you need a lot of resolutions or letters of support from the community, from business owners and the like. So if this is something that we're going to embark upon, I'd like to start getting the team together to give us the most time possible to pursue it. So with that, I'm just going to open it up. I'm just looking for feedback now on if this is something that you'd like to pursue.
Rich, I just have a question about what is necessary to have the plan in place. Do we have to have this shovel ready?
It does not say that it needs to be shovel ready from the guidance documentation that I saw so far.
But engineering plans and details of what we want to do have to be put together?
Yes, but to what extent is something, again, that we're going to need to dig in a little bit more. For example, I'm not sure from what I've read through yet if we can give a representation of the type of street light and that'll be sufficient, or do we need to give, make and model and an actual picture of it, that sort of a thing. I'm not sure what exact level of detail we need to achieve here. So in the case that there is that level of detail, I want to make sure that we have enough time to do that. Because I think that'll require some discussion with, again, the planner, the planning board, bringing some decisions perhaps back to the council too, if that's the case.
Also for sidewalks, if there's money available for our sidewalk program, I mean, sidewalks are a safety issue, and I'm sure we could use more money for sidewalks.
Well, so I'll just comment on somebody that's very interested in the downtown. So I'm going to say, yes, Rich, please start the process, and I'd be happy to work with you in any way I can, and we'll see where it goes. I mean, if we don't continue, we don't continue. But if we don't start looking at it, then we won't know what we're entitled to.
I'd be willing to help, Bob.
And I think this will give us the opportunity to start putting some planning together to beautify the downtown, as Bob has always been interested in. And that involves study in detail of what kind of fixtures you want to put in town. I've worked in several towns where they have provided any developments that go on, that those developments must be part and parcel of the plan that was put together by the town using those individual streetlights. So it does come underneath that much of a detail that you have to have a cut sheet on the fixtures that you want to have, and it'll go many miles making the downtown area look good.
Councilman Knapp, I'd be happy to help you if you need some help too.
Yeah, I'll sleep on that. Thank you.
Okay, we'll get started and report back. All right. The last item under workshop for this evening is, as we kind of wrap up the affordable housing litigation, we actually kind of need to stand up a formal affordable housing program. There is a unit now that's been approved on West Oakland Avenue. So working with the planner and with Brian, we sought proposals from outside firms to act as our, what's called the administrative agent, which is basically a set of functions that encompass actually running the nuts and bolts of the program, qualifying people, doing your affirmative marketing and the like. And so we received two proposals. We're recommending that we retain the firm of Community Grants Planning and Housing. If you had a chance to review their proposal, they work 80 something towns throughout the state. They're very well versed in doing this, and they have the resources to do it effectively as well. The not to exceed amount for this year would be no more than $7,500, and funding is available in our Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
Is that just till December 31st?
Yeah, it may not. That's why I'm saying it's not to exceed. There's an initial setup fee, and then the rest of it may be prorated. I'm looking at what was in their proposal right now.
So if we wanted it for an entire calendar year, it could be as much as 3 times that amount?
No, I don't think that was the intent of their funding proposal.
Okay.
But Brian, can you clarify that?
Yeah, this is something that you will be required to have as part of your affordable housing settlement. It will be included in a compliance plan. In lieu of a municipal employee, you will have an agent that will basically handle all affordable housing, review the sales or rentals, and basically what will happen is it's your initial upfront cost that the municipality incurs. As this goes forwards, if there are changes or any documentation that is required, then the developers or the owners of those properties will pick it up. But it is a requirement, and it certainly eases the pain on a municipality as to have an employee handle this.
Good, thank you.
Excellent idea, by the way. We use consultants in the housing authority as well.
Good. Okay, that's all I have.
I mean, this just on that, it's just very going through this the first time, councilman, whoever's out there listening and paying attention, how invasive this seems, and it's just incredibly frustrating. What's going on in the suburbs with this type of, just forced state, invasion into our local zoning and how we, decide things in town. So I'm learning a lot and look forward to the conversations going forward.
Okay.
All right. Is there any new business? Old business?
I actually have new business. I wanted to bring up the voting. I know we have one voting station, and I don't know if any other towns are doing this, but I really think we should have more in-person voting, especially if we're trying to avoid social, people in contact, keep social distancing. We don't want large crowds. You would think having more places for people to vote in the traditional polling station would make sense to allow for social distancing and not mass gathering of crowds. And I don't know if there's a way in which we can make sure that our residents are able to vote in person and assure that their ballots are legitimate and counted.
However,
sorry for the crying baby in the background.
Grant, I was told that the state is discouraging going to the polls, but they're mandating at least one polling place per municipality. We'll get more details on it, but they're discouraging it, and you can only vote provisionally, and you have to have a good reason why you're going to the polling place.
I mean, what about ShopRite? This is the thing. You go to ShopRite and you see the parking lot, but we don't want people voting. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. And if masks work,
Grant, I heard today that the gyms are going to be reopening, yet you still can't do indoor dining. So I can't figure this out. I wish I had a way to analyze it, but I don't. And I'm sure all of us are very confused about what's going on. I heard today schools are now switching from in-person, from hybrid, now going to all remote or going to remote for the first couple of weeks. I think this is all new grounds for everybody, and I think it's just a matter of learning. And right now, I don't think anybody has the answers.
I personally wish they would have early voting, because there are states that vote 3-4 days before, and you certainly would cut down on the amount of people at the polls if you had several days of early voting. But
we're not going to settle this here. It's coming.
No,
from
we're not. We're not.
Yeah. Well, I think our town should, if there's other communities, we should look into. I believe we should allow for a fair and honest election, and it's important to me for safety reasons. We would want to have more polls on election day, and for people to go to their precincts and vote there and avoid large crowds. I know I plan on voting in person.
You may not be able to unless you have a good reason. That's the whole point. And they're going to take your vote provisionally. It's not going to be counted as a regular
And there's the other one other reason.
vote right away. And not going to be, I believe, the results of this election will not be 2-3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. Who knows?
Yeah. And
it's a very
I hope-
strange year.
I hope
Well, sorry.
decided
One
sooner.
other reason that they're staying away from opening more, they're having difficulty getting people to work the polls because people don't want to be exposed to crowds. So just getting those people who sit there and take the names and sign the papers and everything, they're very hard to come by.
It's all very concerning to me, and I just appreciate the
You're not the
opportunity
only
to bring it up.
person, but you're not the only one. So
It-
we're still waiting. We're still waiting to get some more direction from the state. It's coming down.
Brian, I don't know if Brian has anything to say.
What was the question, Councilman?
We want to
Just
go polling places.
I don't think there's anything we can do about it. It's going to be determined by the county.
Date, really?
well, can we request to the county, put in a letter, or say something if we come together as a council and discuss this at a future meeting, that we would like to have increased in-person voting opportunities for our residents?
Yeah, I think you can, but my understanding is that for whatever reason, it's being limited by the state. And I heard that in the county, there were only going to be 4 in-person voting areas, where I believe there should be at least 1 in every town. But
I thought there was supposed to be 1 in every town. They changed that too.
I heard 4, but I have not. I don't have confirmation yet.
All right. Well, as the information comes in, we'll send it out.
Yeah, but I think, we should find out, and first find out, and then, you can certainly request that there be a polling site.
All right. Anybody else? Council committee reports. So we'll do.
I some old business.
Go ahead. I'm going to have to. You know what? Councilman Talamini, you still here?
Yes.
I'm going to have to ask you to finish the meeting. I just can't. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I apologize to everybody. I'm just not feeling well tonight.
All right. I hope you feel
Sorry,
better.
Mayor. Feel better.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. We'll talk tomorrow.
Okay. So we're under new business.
Old business.
Oh, okay. Old business.
I wanted to bring up the Franklin Ave 202 traffic light and just let everybody know we really want to move forward on the process of looking about the adaptive traffic control, which is pretty involved process in the 2 jurisdictions, and getting this to move forward. And I want to thank Councilman Knapp for working with me on this, and we really just want to continue the conversation about moving that forward. Also, I want to mention Suburban News. I don't know if Mr. Chakowski, if you ever sent a letter about the littering problem that was brought to our attention from residents. Just wanted to follow up on that. And then I wanted to just about the outdoor dining, and it just passed, but thank Al DiGiacomo, one of the residents who reached out to me about the noise situation. But if anybody has any of the Suburban News, Brian, if there's anything on that.
Letter did go out. I reported on it 2 meetings ago, and we've never had a response. I don't know if there's been any further communication, because when we spoke about it, I guess a month ago, I think we were going to try to look for contacts with the Suburban News, but we don't get responses to either the letter or to the email we sent.
That's unfortunate. Look, maybe we could try again. So thank you. And then I wanted to, I don't know if Rich, you could maybe even chime in on this. Just the process with Channel 77, Optimum, Altice, anybody watching out there on the terrible video quality output that was being broadcast right now. We really like industry standard 720p broadcast for all of you watching out there for your viewing pleasure, and what the status is on that.
Yeah, so, it's been a little frustrating given the number of attempts we've tried to get a, clear answer as to why they won't upgrade the video. Is it just a matter of, hey, we're not required to, or, there's a technical reason, or what have you. Granted, as you know, the governmental affairs rep hasn't even responded to us now in a couple of weeks. So the next step, as far as what I can see, is we need to have a conversation directly with the BPU. They have a statewide franchise, and see what they have to say about it.
Seems like there's a theme tonight with people not responding to us.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you.
I have one more item under old business. John Yukimic.
Go ahead.
John, what was the final disposition with the grooving on Skyline Drive? The center lot, the center stripe.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Quite frankly, I don't know how it was left.
Can you look into that again?
Yeah, that needs another. Add that to the pile of unresponsive. Oh wait, Bob has something to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was in touch with the county when they were out here striping the roads. It is.
Oh, okay.
It is on the county's schedule to get done this year. I don't know the exact date, but it is going to get done.
Because that is a big safety concern of mine on Skyline Drive, because there's been numerous accidents, and hopefully that might help somewhat. Thank you, John.
Yeah, and it's not. Thank you, John. Thank you, Bob. It's not only.
Thank you, Bob. Why don't you wait till I get it out of my mouth?
It's not only the groove, Pat. They're gonna put that that I don't know the right term, but that red tacky type surface in certain locations that were pointed out by the police department.
The only problem with that is I have seen in other areas that does not last.
And I spoke to them about that, and this is supposed to be the new and improved version of it.
Okay. Thank you, Bob.
Anytime, Pat. I'm here for you.
And just, I have something under new business I forgot about. I was approached by, contacted by a resident, Joe Kuhns. He's interested in having a rally in support of police. He asked if maybe we could put some kind of committee together so we could have a rally. He was saying something like Oakland citizens back the blue, something like that. So I said maybe we'd see if we could put a committee together, and he offered himself as the chairman, and then he also mentioned John McCann as the vice chair, and then I was talking with Pat, and Pat offered to be on the committee. So if we could just make some kind of committee, I think that would be nice, and he could, if they could get something going, that would be really nice. So we could have some kind of rally supporting the police, not only in town but throughout the state. Okay. Any comments? Hello? No comments? Okay. All right. So then, any more old business? No? All right. So council committee reports. Let's start. We'll go. How about John? You go first, Councilman Bialy.
Yeah, thank you, Russ. Senior report. There's still a mix of in-person, Zoom only, and hybrid programs going on at the senior center, indicated on the calendar. You can pick up a calendar either online or at the senior center, and it's very nicely done. It's every day marked out with what's going on, so you can pick that up online or at the senior center. You're asked to call or email the senior center to register for any of the classes. If you would like to be added to our email list to receive the Zoom links for online classes, they can reach out to Ariel at 201-405-7731 or seniors@oakland-nj.org. Anyone like to borrow any games, any puzzles to bring home? They can come by and pick up by appointment, and all items borrowed will be quarantined for 7 days and or sanitized upon return. But you have to make a call on that to set it up. And through the county's Division of Senior Services, they'll be offering private appointments for anyone who needs assistance with navigating Medicare through SHIP SHIP, State Health Insurance Program, with the state certified counselor. This next date will be Monday, September 21st. Appointments will begin at 9:30 a.m. and run for up to 45 minutes. They are on a first come, first served basis and will roll into the next month if they fill the list. If anyone is interested in learning more or setting up an appointment, they can contact Ariel at the Senior Center, 201-405-7731. A flyer with additional information is available on the Oakland website, and they can pick it up at the Senior Center as well. In conjunction with the Oakland Department of Health, they'll be hosting the annual flu shot clinic on Thursday, October the 8th from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Senior Center in the main multi-purpose room by appointment. All participants must pre-register with the Department of Health by September 17th. The flu shot clinic is open to residents 65 and older with Medicare Part B and no HMO. Appointments to competitive registration paperwork can be made by calling Sandra Steele at the Health Department, 201-337-8111, extension 2018. They'll be hosting bingo on the Senior Center patio on Thursday, September 24th, subject to weather, at 12:30 p.m. Anyone who would like to attend are asked to call and register as spaces are limited. As a reminder, the office is open Monday to Friday and available to help connect anyone who needs resources for seniors, including but not limited to food, transportation, Medicare, and healthcare. They can reach Ariel again, same number, 201-405-7731. And the Seniors Center weekly shopping bus has resumed service and is open to Oakland residents 55 and older. A flyer with more information is available on the Oakland website and at the Senior Center as well. The DPW update, potholes. The Department of Public Works is asking our residents to report any known potholes that might have developed over the last few weeks with the rain. They noticed that traveling on our streets, potholes can be reported by filling out a service report on the borough website or by calling the Public Works Department at 201-337-8104. With the help of our residents, the road department employees have repaired more than 1,200 potholes in the borough since January of this year. Street lighting. Residents can also report street lights that are out or not functioning properly to the Department of Public Works by calling Public Works Superintendent Anthony Marcaselli at 201-337-8104, extension 3003. Superintendent Marcaselli will then report the failures to Rockland Electric Company, who typically makes the necessary repair within 2 weeks. Fire hydrant flushing. On or about September 14th, Water Department employees will resume their annual hydrant flushing program. Residents will notice Water Department employees flushing, inspecting, and repairing hydrants throughout our borough during the months of September and October. This work is considered necessary preventive maintenance and will in no way affect the drinking quality or cause a disruption of water services. And just want to report that this Friday we have a water and sewer meeting. That's my report. Thank you, Russ.
No problem. All right. Let's go to Councilman Van Ack.
All right. I took up time with other things, so I'll try to be as brief as possible. Planning board did not have a meeting, and we will see if we are going to postpone again, depending on what business we have going forward. The Recreation Commission, just a quick report. We have began the football, cheerleading, soccer programs following all the COVID-19 protocols as we did already this summer. And that winter sports signups should be beginning in September on schedule. Thank you to all the volunteers, the coaches, and our whole commission for the great work they're doing and the very unprecedented, uncharted times that we're in. Just been fantastic and really a bright spot with everything going on. The Communications Commission is looking for 2 new members. There's 2 vacancies. We're always looking for newsletter submissions and writers for the newsletter. So you can email me if you want to join, volunteer, or get involved in writing something. There's a lot of talent out there and a lot of amazing stories from our residents. vanek@oakland-nj.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant. Let's go to Councilman Pinatelli.
Thank you, Councilman. I'm happy to report that the Bylaws Committee completed our first draft of the revisions to the bylaws. However, in light of our most recent meeting, hoping that Brian Chukowski will be able to give us some suggestions regarding our committees. So before we present it to the entire council, hopefully Brian will help us with some wording regarding our standing committees. Right, Brian?
That is correct.
Good, thank you. If there was a green team meeting last night, I did not get any notification with the ID for me to sign on. So hopefully we'll have one. If they didn't have one, we'll have one next month. Environmental Commission is going to be meeting September 1st. Our Public Events Committee will be meeting September 14th. Our Board of Health will be meeting on September the 15th. And the next Green Team meeting is September 22nd. I'd like to personally thank Councilman Lou Levy for the work that he has done in this past year. It's a lot of work. I know he dedicated a lot of time, and I want to thank him for doing that. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Knapp.
Thank you, Council President Talamini. I will start with the police department. Don't hold this verbatim because I don't know if the schools are going to make changes or not, but as of right now, I'm not even sure of the date that school's supposed to start, but as of early next month, from the chief, schools in Oakland will be back in session due to COVID-19 pandemic. Indian Hills High School and the Oakland schools are planning on running different school days. Indian Hills is planning on holding classes every day from 7:35 to 2:29 p.m. Valley Middle School, tentatively, will be holding classes every day from 8 a.m. to 12:24 p.m. And the elementary schools are tentatively scheduled classes every day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Please keep these time schedules in mind as you drive through town, as more children and school buses will be on the roadways at different times of the day. Chief Sinzeri. Also with the police, I give the numbers for the previous month. So these are July's activities. A thank you needs to go out to the residents for them tipping the police off to to specific areas for radar details. I was informed by quite a few residents of certain areas. I relayed that message to the chief, and the radar details typically that they have almost tripled, and as did the warnings and the summonses. So radar details, they ran 129 this month, in addition to 15 traffic enforcement details. They stopped 322 cars and wrote 264 summonses. They responded to 49 burglar alarms, 33 motor vehicle crashes within town, 27 fireworks complaints in the month of July. So things are starting to somewhat get back to normal since COVID, with everyone obviously not 100%, but taking the safety measures into account. We're doing okay. First aid squad for the month of July ran 315 calls for service. No, I'm sorry, 46 calls for service, 315 year to date. So far year to date, they have 7,273 hours volunteer time given to the borough. It's a lot of time. Unfortunately, we have to have them, and thank God that they're there with us. Fire department for the month of July responded to 26 calls. For the year, they have 1,136 hours, also volunteer time donated to the borough. So kudos to everybody. Everybody's been staying safe, so I appreciate that. And that's the end of my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Neff. I have a question about the tickets. There was an issue where a bunch of tickets got issued for parking on the streets in one part of the town.
Yeah, no, they were just warnings. They were not actual summonses. And the issue is being addressed by myself, Pat, Rich, the police chief, and a few others. So it's being rectified, but no, there were no summonses. They were all just warnings.
Okay, so we're looking into it and whatever. Okay. All right. So now my report. First, let me. Mike Guadagnino texted me after I asked about the funding for the rec, and he just wanted to assure everyone that the rec always operates in the black, and we shouldn't have a problem. Everything looks fine. He said the rec camp made a lot of money, and that we always spend what we take in at rec. We don't. So he just wants to assure everyone that we're right on track with the money. And then, since I'm talking about rec, if you notice in the back, I got my Oakland hat and I got the NJSBL championship shirt hanging there. We had many championships this year, but I'll talk about one. My son, his 10U team. This is the third year in a row they've won. It's a lot of fun with this team, and but really, without the rec department and all that they do, we couldn't enjoy this. And I just want to say thank you on behalf of all of our baseball and softball families for summer. What this really meant a lot to everybody. We all needed some kind of outlet, and I just really I can't tell you how much I appreciate what Oakland Rec does for our family and the many families in town. But so they don't give those shirts to just anybody. So
Congratulations! That's great news. Congrats.
We had many, and there was the one day there must have been 6 championship games in Oakland. So that means we were the number 1 seed for at least 6 games. I'm not sure of the totals, but we'll get it. We'll report it. But really, we had an awesome season. The girls, the boys, everyone, just a great season. But now school. Yes, as of right now, the elementary schools are planning to open with a hybrid plan. So it'll be some virtual, some in person, with AB days, half days for the lower grades. The high school, They will be voting tomorrow. I attended a Zoom meeting yesterday. It was 2 hours of question and answer for the high school. It went fairly well. I thought people brought up some good points. They were asking about lunch, if you can have lunch, and the problem is you can't eat in a restaurant indoors. So how are you going to have the cafeteria? So they're trying to figure that out. So they're going to vote on Thursday and decide whether or not the high school will be open, as a hybrid model or totally at home. But as of right now, like I said, the schools, the Oakland elementary schools are planning on opening with the hybrid model maybe days. But it all changes. And I'm sure everyone will know what's going on before our next council meeting. The news will get out there. The library is open and available for your use. There's plenty of online stuff that you can do, and you could go there in person and get stuff. They were used as a shelter during the storm. They help us greatly. It's a wonderful wonderful thing that we have in town, the library. It helps us with a lot of issues. And then finance, we haven't had a meeting. I think Rich, maybe we should get a finance meeting just to go over what's going on and just get a handle on things. So other than that, I'm done. And so I need a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I'm here. Can you get me?
Okay, Council President Talamini, first up is resident Ann Bernhard.
All right, thank you.
I have.
Name and address.
Oh.
She's muted.
You're muted.
Yeah, I'm on mute.
Oh.
Yeah, she's muted again.
We can't hear you.
Mike, can you unmute her?
All right, we'll come back to her. Next up is resident Vivian King.
Thank you. Can we get your address, please?
113 Hiawatha Boulevard.
Thank you.
So first, I'd just like to thank Councilman Lou Levy, or former Councilman Lou Levy, for his service to the town. He did a great job and he will be missed. Secondly, I'd just like to state that there is a process. I don't know if many people of Oakland know the process of how you fill his the duration of his term. So there's something called county committee, and county committee members are throughout Oakland. There are 4 per district in Oakland. And those members of county committee are elected on a ballot by the people of Oakland. So apparently there was an email sent out today by a non-county committee member. And it was basically sent out to, I guess you could say, most of county committee, because I'm on county committee and I did not receive it. So I did finally receive a copy from someone, and basically it was saying that this person who is not county committee is running the election as it is, because what happens is the county committee is supposed to meet. The county committee puts up 3 names. Those 3 names are given to the mayor and council, and they are voted on. They agree on one person and they are voted on. So basically what's happening now is someone who is not elected by the people is running this quote unquote election. And what I have to say is that I'm actually appalled that with all the rhetoric coming from the Republicans, and this is a Republican seat, about a possible election fraud come this November, that our municipal chair, Russ Talamini, would allow someone who was not elected by the people of Oakland to participate in this legal process. So I'd just like to get that out there and get that to everyone. I know that you've stopped with the back and forth, but I'd just like to say that as a sitting council or a city county committee person who was elected by the people in a proper validated vote, that someone who is not an elected county committee member would be running this process is shameful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you get me now?
Yes, we hear you now.
Thank goodness. Well, first of all, I wanted to thank you for fixing the sidewalks over by the
Sorry, can we get your name and address?
Ann Bernhardt, 101 East Oak Street, Oakland, New Jersey.
Thank you.
You did a great job, and it's safe to walk there. Now I have to ask you a question. Do the local gas stations that do the inspections for the state, can they charge anything they want? Because today I went down to Paramus, and I wouldn't get into Paramus until December. So I decided to call some gas stations, 2 in Oakland and 1 on the other side of 17. Oakland first one gave me $75. The second one gave me, and all 3 agreed this would take 15 minutes. The second one was going to charge me $100. And I went to Westwood for $50. Now, are they raising this because of the virus we have? Or is this a standard price that anyone can charge what they want? Because $100 was a disgrace, I feel. And I didn't think much of $75 either, when you could get $50.
I'm sure they just charge what they feel like. I don't know.
You really mean that they can do that? They can have the state give them the right to inspect and let them just $100? I mean, somebody should look into that.
All right. Well, we could see if there's.
I mean, I don't know who to call to find out who the standard price is, and I'm sure one of you people up there would know it.
I'm not sure. Rich, would you know of anything that we could look into?
I mean, as far as I know, if you're a private, gas station repair facility where you're doing, state license inspections, perhaps there's some agreement you need to have with the state. So, conceivably there's something there through the motor vehicle committee that would apply. I'm not personally aware of any price controls that the state put in place on that. It's not to say that they don't exist. I just don't know. But if I was the resident, I would contact the motor vehicle commission and see what they were able to tell her.
All right.
Well, I just don't understand why you can't even do it locally in your own town. You have to go over to Westwood to be able to afford. And so many people are going to have to be using this year. And that's my question. Are they gouging just like people gouge? We're supposed to tell you if people are gouging. So I'm telling you that this is gouging as far as I'm concerned.
I guess you could report it to the Better Business Bureau.
But you guys can't check it out at all. No, none of you can. Mr. Bialy, I know you do all over Bergen County.
My suggestion is there is a phone number for the Better Business Bureau at the administration building, and I know several people who work there. I've had some concerns about getting gouged myself, and they were able to go through it, investigate it, and get back to me. So I would definitely give them a call, and I can call the guy that runs that department and ask him if there's any standard operating charge that is recommended, or do they just charge what the mechanics make per hour and multiply it by the hour that they're going to spend on your car?
But it's 15 minutes. All three agreed they could do it in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's where it just seemed astronomical.
Okay, would you please send me an email with your phone number?
Yes,
and
I will.
I'll make a phone call tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, John.
Thank you.
That's it. Bye.
All right, next up, resident Rachel Gregory.
Hi, Rachel. Could we get your address, please?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi. My address is 2 Kiowa Terrace.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I have a number of comments and questions, so you can just cut me off when my time is run out. I don't know if you're going to answer the questions as they go along or at the end, but the first one is, who is going to be the head of the sewer committee now that Lou Levy has resigned? He was planning to have a meeting to talk about the sewer treatment plants in September. The dates he was looking at were the September 17th or the 21st. So I want to find out when that meeting is going to be held. I also wanted to know if the meeting about the sewers on Friday is open to the public. I think somebody mentioned there's a meeting on Friday about that. I also wanted to say that I read the administrative consent order in relation to the sewer treatment plants. I read it, as did many other people, and there were a number of questions and concerns about that. The first one is the risks and dangers that are presented to the residents and the environment by the violations that were outlined in the administrative consent order. The second were about the fines and penalties that Oakland were given from these violations. If this is the first time that Oakland had received violations in relation to the sewer plants, where will the money come from to pay for these penalties? And if there were any penalties in the past, where did that money come from to pay for those? My last one is, as far as I know, there was never a public comment session or anything else mentioned in the public notice and public participation section of the administrative consent order. I wanted to know, when is that taking place? When will we be formally notified? And when will we have time to discuss this? Many of the residents on the sewers and who are impacted by these sewer treatment plants have many questions and concerns that we would like addressed as soon as possible. So if you can answer any of those questions as you answered the person before me, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. As for the liaison, the liaison is now Councilman Pinatelli.
No. I'm not.
No. Sorry, for the sewers is John, right?
John Bialy.
John Bialy is sewers. John, is there anything that you would want to add to any of that, or?
No, we're going to have our meeting on Friday, and we're going to put together a plan of action. And I'm sure all the concerns that were brought up will be spoken about at the meeting.
Thank you, John.
Is that meeting open to the public?
Rich, I don't know if that is.
No, it's just an internal. It's
an internal commission meeting.
And how could we find out the results of that? I mean, I'm not going to be at that meeting, so all of the questions I asked and my comments, when will they be addressed? You were able to address Ann's comments before, so I was hoping that now was a good time for you to address my comments, since I'm not going to be participating in that meeting on Friday, nor are the other residents on this Zoom right now.
If I may, so Friday's meeting is a general meeting of the Water and Sewer Subcommittee. We're going to be going over a lot of issues in that meeting: water issues, sewer issues. The Phase 1 project will be discussed, as well as the planning for a meeting with all of the residents and stakeholders involved with the decommissioning of the package plant. So I think coming out of that meeting, we'll have a clear idea of what the time frame will be and how we're going to proceed with in terms of invitations, notifications, scheduling, and all of that. And you'll hear from us in due course after Friday's meeting.
Have you considered having a resident participate in that meeting? Someone who's on the sewers who could represent? I don't know if anyone on the council is actually on the sewers system in Oakland. Is there anyone who is directly impacted on that committee?
Not I.
Maybe if you give your information to Rich, and then he could contact you after the meeting, and then answer some of your questions.
How should I contact Rich?
Sure, Ms. Gregory, if you just go to the website, my email address should be there, and you can just send me an email, and that way I'll have your information, and I'll follow up after the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, resident Sarah Michelle.
Hi, do you hear me?
Yes. Could we get your address, please?
Yes, 23 Cayuga Ave. First of all, congratulations, Russell. I know we've worked together on the public events in the past. Congratulations on being council president. I'm very happy for you. We will miss Lou. I know he was trying his best to communicate what was going on. So first of all, thank you. I know it's not an enviable position for anyone. I know this is basically voluntary. You're paid very little for all of you do. So we definitely appreciate that you're here, you're working around the clock for us. Please understand that my questions are, also piggybacking, Rachel's comments. I live on sewers, and I'm very disheartened that there's only a select few of us. I mean, I'm very emotional about this. And I don't think anyone on the council really cares what we're going through. We were one of the houses that suffered a backup back in June of 2019. I experienced a lot of property damage. On top of that, I just got the ACO, which says that you guys were aware that the DEP is forcing Oakland to decommission, basically, and for lack of a better word, all 3 sewer treatment plants, wastewater treatment plants, because it's failed, it's been neglected. All the copper, the oil, the phosphorus, the ammonia, it's so beyond, it's above the permit limits. So me, who I have 2 children, I don't know why this is okay with you guys to have us suffering this way. It's not okay. And then trying to pin the cost of $6 million on 200 plus homes is still not okay. You guys neglected us. We pay our sewer bills. We pay our utility bills. Why isn't there any accountability? It's really unfair. It's not just unfair. I can't utilize my house. I can't really finish my basement. I don't know if there's another backup gonna happen. It's honestly so disheartening, and I really wish some of you could literally, I've come to tears at this point, and I'm a very strong person, but for me to get to this point, it means I'm not being heard, and it's very frustrating. I want to address a couple concerns. I know, as I mentioned, Lou Levy was trying to communicate and tell me all sorts of things that were going to happen with the $6 million phase 1 investment. And excuse me, but this is a year-long frustration, and I've gotten nowhere, and I keep hitting a brick wall, and I'm emotionally done. On a few weeks ago, right before Lou left and resigned, he emailed me, and he said that he was trying to work with a CFO, David Young, to find out exactly how much this new project is going to cost. I understand you guys took an iBank loan for an investment and an infrastructure loan with the DEP and the state in order to have these sewers done, the new sewers. And he said that he spoke to the CFO. They got numbers finally since June of last year, and then we had a follow-up meeting in February with you guys. and I was waiting for a follow-up. I wanted to know if I'm overreacting as far as you guys are claiming my utility bill is going to be lower moving forward. After a lot of back and forth, that was not the case. That was poor marketing. You guys are trying to market this as it's going to be a lower cost of utility bills. It's not. People are paying $600 to $800 per quarter per household. And when they first advertised this as it's going to be lowering our costs, this is after the 30-year loan and bonds with a trust is paid off, which means that we're paying a little or a little more, is what Lou Levy mentioned to me, for now until it's paid off. And then after 30 years, we're going to reap the consequence. I mean, reap what we sowed. My question is, the CFO wound up telling him the exact numbers. And I wanted to ask Councilman Bialy if he has those numbers for us, because we've been waiting for it since June. How is this going to financially impact us? And during a pandemic, it's in really poor taste where the government, federal and state government, are giving us money in stimulus checks. You guys are asking us to pay over $25,000 per household for this new sewer investment infrastructure that's going to revitalize downtown, which is documented all over, including the sewer management, wastewater management plan for the Borough of Oakland. So every time I hear the word, my next point is, every time I hear the word, we're the stakeholders, we're investing in this, we're going to benefit from this. The truth of the matter is that we're actually not. You guys are revitalizing downtown, which is necessary, but we're not getting a cut out of that. So I don't understand the legality of that. I don't understand, like, are you going to cut us a check every time a town, that the downtown, benefits from this? Because this is a town-wide problem. The sewers that were neglected, it's a town-wide problem. You guys have to do this per the state mandate, and now we have to pay for it, and then the town benefits. So I don't understand. A lot of these questions are the same questions. They're being repeated only because we're not getting answers. So when Rachel, the prior speaker, spoke about, we have so many questions, can we participate in this meeting on Friday? It's because these questions have been going on since last June. I don't understand why we're left with so many questions. And I don't know. I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to throw all that out there. Take it as you will. I hope it's documented somewhere and written in the minutes, because I'm extremely frustrated that the town, that there's not one person advocating for us. And I really hope after today we could speak. I don't know who would want to hear our side, who wants to be invited and talk to us. But I really believe we have a host of issues, from property damage, from I can't enjoy my property. I can't, use my downstairs. I can't, I have no idea. You guys also promised the relining of the sewer pipes. That has not happened. You guys promised this months and months ago. Nothing's happening. That we were going to be notified when this gas or smoke test, quote unquote, was going to happen. We're being totally ignored as the minority in Oakland. And I don't understand why. I don't understand why we're a joke, to some of you. And I really hope this is a wake-up call. Imagine if you were in our positions. And it's just a smack in the face. As you know, I've worked with a number of you on different committees in town. And I have to say, I really like you guys as people. I believe Oakland is strong. We have a lot of great people. I just really want people to advocate for us the way we all volunteer on different organizations. I love this town, and I would hate to just, put my hands up and say, this is enough. Let's take a legal route.
All right, thank you. We hear what you're saying, and we'll go into this meeting. We'll report back to everyone, and we'll see what we can do to make sure everybody's informed about what's going on and what our plans are moving forward. Thank you. Okay.
I don't know if Michael left. Al DiGiacomo has his hand raised.
Yes, good evening.
Hi, can we get your address, please?
Sure, 24 Long Hill Road, Al DiGiacomo. I had a little trouble logging on tonight. If I missed anything about the disturbances from at the south end of town with Portobello's on Saturday night. Was there any discussion tonight?
Hi, Al. We did amend the outdoor dining resolution to cut it off live and recorded music at 11 p.m. So we adjusted the resolution in a few other ways, but specifically addressing the noise. We made that vote and approval to make it 11 p.m., not a.m., 11 p.m. at night. So that was corrected, as well as what to do when there's warnings and complaints. So I'm glad you brought that to our attention.
Well, thank you very much. I think that's rather reasonable. Again, my thoughts are on business too. Hopefully, when we get through these kind of over restrictions, that Portobello's can take it inside there and really carry on his business, which is extremely successful. And again, I want to wish you, thank you for taking this into consideration. And my heart goes out to Sarah. Boy, that was a hard act to follow just now. You know, the gal was just talking before me. So I want to thank you guys and carry on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have Benjamin Wagman.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes. Can we get your address,
great.
please?
Yes, 10 Mountain Lakes Road, Oakland, New Jersey. So I just wanted to follow up. Sarah, thank you very much for that. I was recently informed about what's been going on with the sewers, maybe over the last week or so. Prior to that, I had no idea what was happening, what was in discussions. There were a bunch of different viewpoints floating around. So this is the reason why I attended this meeting is because I just want to kind of get a better idea of what's going on here. So kind of being on the outside and looking to get some sort of understanding about this, I guess my question really comes down to, what is this going to mean for the 200 or so houses that are sewers at this point in terms of what their bills are going to look like? I mean, that's really a lot of what this comes down to. I know that our sewers increased tremendously. I can't exactly remember when that occurred. And really, that's what I want to know. I want to know what this means for us at this point. So that's my question. What is my bill going to look like? Is it going to be increased? Is it going to be decreased? Is it going to stay the same? So that's my question.
Well, what I'll say is we're having meetings and we're discussing all of this. And once we have a better idea of what's going on, we'll be able to make a presentation and we can go from there. I mean, there's nothing in stone now. Everything's being discussed. That's what's going on. That's why they're having the meeting. Okay.
So at this point, the information that has been floating around as far as, because what I've heard was that this is going to actually decrease our service, our bill, whatever. That's just hearsay. I shouldn't consider that. There's really no answer to this until Friday. So everything at this point is a legitimate concern that Sarah so eloquently expressed, because there is no answer at this point. Is that what you're saying? There's no estimates. There's nothing at this point.
Well, I mean, John, you're on the.
I think Rich. I want to use Rich as a central point, but I can share with you that all of these here points of concern that I've heard, and I understand fully what Miss Michelle is going through, and I appreciate, and my heart goes out to her. But we have been working for the last 3 years on putting all the ingredients together to switch us out of and decommission the treatment plants that we have that are in failure, and to go over to moving our effluent out of town and into Northwest Bergen Utilities. What we've been doing, we're trying to put all of our information together and have one specified meeting with all the people involved to have one central thought and one central area that deals with all the concerns, and then we'll follow up with questions. But I think that's the best way to handle this from a central location. And Rich, if you want to add to that, I think that was our plan months and months ago, where we were going to have one of our professionals give an overview and understanding of how we got to where we are.
Yeah, that's actually been the plan for some time now. We have been working on the finance end on developing, the projections in terms of how this will work out in terms of operating costs and capital costs and what that would translate into in terms of the rate structure going forward. At this point, that is internal. It is still something that I would call in development until that has been shared with the subcommittee members and we are ready to make that public. So I just ask everybody to be patient. So, the one other thing I'd like to point out, because I think one of the residents had mentioned this, that what we're talking about here in terms of developing this projection and these numbers that have, I guess, been being bandied about is we're talking about the decommissioning of the existing treatment plants. We are not talking about what we internally are calling phase 2 or 3, which is sewering the downtown and working with NBCUA on investing a lot in terms of the transmission infrastructure. Okay, so this is not a case where the existing ratepayers would be saddled with paying for an expansion of the system itself, which we do not even have DEP approval to do at this point. We're simply talking about a decommissioning of the plants in lieu of substantially rehabbing them. And I think when we have the meeting, we'll be prepared to go over both of those different cost scenarios and the differences with that.
Okay. Can I follow up with another question, please, based on that answer?
Go ahead.
Okay. So based on what you said, this phase that you're going through right now, it really has no economic impact because we're not at that next stage or phase where things would start to change. And I guess from what I understand is that the town's looking to move towards sewers. Is that correct?
Right. So there's a couple of things going on here. One is decommissioning the existing plants,
right,
and sending everybody over, sending all that flow to a regional entity for treatment. So the borough gets out of the treatment business. Following on from that, it's been a long-term goal to be able to sewer the downtown areas and perhaps expand into some residential areas as well. That was the point behind doing the wastewater management plan, because the current one limits the approved sewer service areas to what they are right now. So when you expand, that requires DEP approval. That has been a very, 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 very long process given the issues with the Highlands and water allocation and the regulatory hurdles that we have been trying to grapple with. So that wastewater management plan has been submitted to the DEP. One of the discussion points at our meeting on Friday is going to be review that process and that time frame in terms of seeking DEP approval.
Okay. My last question then is if the long-term goal is to kind of convert over to sewers, then this should be something that's going to be a shared responsibility or the township's responsibility to the finances involved in something like this, whether it's, whatever the amount is. This is not something that's going to fall on the 200 or so homes that are that have the sewers. That this is something that's going to ultimately benefit everybody in cost. Is that kind of the image, the projection, the future on something like this?
Conceptually, yes, absolutely. And I think when we have the community meeting, we can dive into that in some greater detail. We'll have some information on how that works in terms of assessments and new ratepayers paying their fair share.
So I definitely now, and I appreciate all the responses that you and the other gentleman gave, but I can definitely see where Sarah's coming from in this, because we are a minority in terms of the sewers in this township, and we've already been impacted tremendously by that change. Again, I can't put my finger on it, that occurred, but I know my bill changed, and that was enough of that. And there's only so much we could carry this, but that's it. Thank you very much. And,
all right, thank you.
That's it. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sarah, Michelle, and Al DiGiacomo still have their hand raised. Is that another question that you guys have?
I just think they have their hand still up unless they have something else to say.
Okay, there's another hand, Brendan Mulligan.
Thank you. My name is Maureen Mulligan, 28 Page Drive. There are some homeowners in town that have sewer easements on their property. So I just want to make sure that those homeowners, including us, are fully aware of what's going on with the sewers, and that we're, informed by the powers to be, and that we are notified and given ample time if this involves, the potential of digging up our property or what it involves, because we also have plans for our property in terms of landscaping and that type of thing. So I just wanted to see how this will impact homeowners that have sewer easements on their property.
All right, thank you very much. We'll make sure that we'll look into that, and if someone with an easement is going to be affected by this, we'll make sure they're notified.
Thank you. Do you know how many property owners have easements?
Rich, would you know?
Not offhand, no. And I'm not even sure if these are, the resident may know. I don't know if these are sanitary sewer easements, which feel a little odd to me, but perhaps that's what it is, or whether it's some sort of a drainage easement.
I believe there's sewer easements on the properties.
All right, so we'll make sure that we
can look into it.
Thank you.
I see no other new people with their hands raised.
Can I get a motion to close? The
motion to close?
Second. We didn't do bills.
No,
the meeting, the public meeting.
Oh, motion to close the public. I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So now we're up to bills to be paid. Bills to be paid. $2,162,221.74. So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
Okay. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The meeting's adjourned. The next meeting will be held on September 9th, 2020. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a nice evening.
Good night. Have a good night.
Night.
Good night.